while I watched creation, I saw that everybody's equal. Now the reason why is because, as I said before, we are all characters or personalities within Source's mind. One part of its mind is the same as another part of its mind. You with me? There can't be a greater or higher or more powerful being than Source. I saw that Source did not create, for example, angels. Now when I was growing up, I was taught that Source created this army of angels, and they lived to do God's bidding, and they were messengers, and they came and they helped people on earth do certain things, and then there was this great war between, you know, one group of angels versus another group of angels who were fighting for God's favor, and one group won the war and cast the other group out of heaven into what is now hell. So Lucifer was the leader of the bad angels, and Michael the archangel, I think, was the leader of the good angels, or maybe it was Gabriel, I don't remember which one. That's what I was taught. So I was quite surprised as I was merging into Source and witnessing creation through its eyes, with it, and remembering being there as Source at the beginning, and remembering how and why we created this universe. It was interesting to see that there weren't any higher and lower beings. And that's true throughout the universe. There are creatures aplenty, all of whom are manifested, but there are no higher spiritual beings than you yourself are. And you are just inhabiting a human body. You can inhabit anything you want in the universe, or nothing. You don't have to inhabit physical matter. But you, as a character or personality within Source, are the highest being that there ever could be, besides Source. So, who are all the angels that people talk about? Who do you think they are? They're us! We are the angels. Maybe not in this human form, but once we leave these bodies and go into the afterlife, some of us have the job of doing things that people would call angels. Beings of light look like angels to some people. There are some people in the afterlife whose job it is to look after people like me who've been sent here as messengers. There are people in the afterlife who love us so much that they watch over us while we're in physical life, while part of us is in physical life. I also learned that not all of us goes into physical life. Some of our energy stays in what we call the afterlife. So guess who cares the most about what's going on with you while you're a human being? Yourself. You are your own guardian angel, in that sense. The energy, the part of you that's still in the light, watches over and guides and assists and informs the part that's in a human body. So if you want to think of that as being an angel, that's fine, because there's definitely somebody there watching that over you. But the human concept of angels generally arose from man's early religions, which were all polytheistic. You know, I saw in this documentary of where religion fit into life that, early humans were extremely fearful, just like we all are, of natural disasters, of natural phenomena, of things they didn't understand. And it was human nature to call anything that was more powerful than the typical human a god. There were zillions of gods. God of the wind, rain, fire, snow, water, everything. Everything, sun, moon, stars, they were all gods. Makes perfect sense to a human living then. Now we don't think of them so much as gods because science has given us another way of looking at them. Over the millennia, I saw that the numbers of these gods were kind of whittled down. Some of it was due to science. Science did exist thousands of years ago, not in the form today, but some of it was scientific breakthroughs. A lot of it was through conquests. You know, one country would conquer another and would insist upon bringing their gods as the national gods of the people that they were conquering. So when a group of people believed in X, Y, and Z God, the conquerors came in, and all of a sudden now they got to believe in A, B, and C. It's forced upon them. So a lot of religions got mixed together. And a lot of religions just added more and more gods on top. And then a lot of religions just changed the names of the gods. So they were basically the same ones. Eventually, humans got to the point where they were kind of structuring this pantheon of multiple gods into a kingly type court. There was usually a higher god. In some cultures that was called Zeus or Marduk in some religions, and I can't remember the name in some others. There were other gods that were like the queen, you know, like Venus, Aphrodite, Isis, you know, were like a female type consort. And then the rest of them were like maybe knights or dukes or, you know, whatever else you would see in a kingly court. Well, eventually over time, some of those knights and dukes and other lower divinities were called angels. So the concept kind of grew over millennia from the human concept of a kingly court. And the angels were the ones that were messengers. In fact, in the early scripture, they were just called messengers. It wasn't until closer to New Testament days that they started being called angels. And that was just kind of a translation thing, an interpretation thing. So that's where it came from.